Bonjour everyone, welcome to another Diecast Showcase. So today is Canada Day, 1st of July. So happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadian subscribers. And of course, happy early Independence Day on the 4th for my American watchers and all the other people around the world. Happy whenever your date is for your country's anniversary. So today I thought I'd do a little impromptu car show, showing off some of my latest thrift store finds and comparing them to, well, some of them to existing pieces in the collection. Just get some comparos in as well. So we'll start off by checking out some couple sheds that I picked up, basically. So just a couple beaters and whatnot there. So we'll start off with my Hot Wheels finds and go through a couple different brands afterwards, and we'll see how it goes as we go. All right. So first piece that I'm retaining in the collection from my finds would be this Pontiac Grand Prix NASCAR with the Hot Wheels livery. More of a wheel donor than anything else, because I find these Goodyear sidewall tires are worn in a really well, kind of a good way. Basically, they look used, but they're gonna look great on some type of beater casting, some type of muscle car probably, and whatnot there. And I like the wheel design. This used to be tampoed in the front, but is not anymore, pretty much. Livery's worn out, but it's a heavy cast, and yeah, there you go. Just a little wheel donor to be added to the collection. Next up, I picked up a classic, I believe it's called like a Rescue Ranger or something like that. Basically, I know it's had several names throughout the years. This is a fairly early one. It was a Blackwall car, and as you can see, it's got the Hong Kong base with the 1974 copyright. Obviously was well loved by the previous owner. This is the kind of car that I find is fun to pick up because, it's not a casting I hugely love, but it's just cool that it has all this play history, basically. The hours of joy brought to some kid, and it's still 100% usable today, and despite it missing about 50% of its paint, still a cool looking truck. And I like the fact that this is blue non-clear plastic, as opposed to being part of the windows and whatnot, because as you can see, it held up the test of time. I mean, I'm assuming this is not necessarily a 1974 release of this cast, but I'm gonna assume it's probably from the 80s. This is probably 40 years old or something like that, and still rolls, and the axles are actually pretty straight. No cracks in the window, although it's not very transparent anymore. Seen better days, to say the least. But yeah, so a little shed there, cool little piece. Following along, we have this modified drag Chevy S10 pickup truck. Unfortunately, the wheelie bars in the back are no longer there. You still do have the chutes, but it's a cool casting. I've seen this casting in several liveries, and just to get it in a grab bag is pretty cool. So brought to you by Eddie's Bail Bonds, number 23. So kind of like a Lightning McQueen theme going on almost. I don't know if this casting is newer or older than the movie, but we do have a 1998 copyright date on this one, and it's a 1998 pickup. So I'm going to assume that probably this came out pretty much at the same time as the facelifted S10, with the stacked lights as opposed to the square ones. But yeah, cool casting overall. Drag cars are always fun, as are also you know, more like I guess time attack cars and things like that. So we have next this Mercury Cougar, last gen Mercury Cougar. Definitely a very custom casting. And I'm looking at the engine. It kind of looks like either a V6 or maybe even a V8. Definitely an SHO engine, like one of those Yamaha high output engines. Crammed in the front there. Clear hood that was something that was fairly popular on the show car scene 25 years ago. Yeah, so we have little inserts for the fog lights. We also have an insert for the exhaust, as you can see. Big wing. You can still recognize the lights in the back of the last gen Cougar. And it's got a little, I guess probably a NOS bottle in the back, although it almost looks like a torpedo or a rocket or something. But yeah, very custom Cougar. Cool casting to have that I didn't have, so I'm happy to pick up that one. Next up we have the second colorway of this casting that I managed to pick up. Talking about the Oldsmobile Aurora, first generation. V8 front-wheel drive sedan with the 4-liter V8 North Star engine. Came out in 1996 and was the first of Oldsmobile newest at the time and unforeseemingly last styling cues. This one has a weird Raptor livery. Kind of look like the Toronto Raptors kind of scripting on there, but it's written Raptor as opposed to Raptors, so I have no idea of what that refers to. Little 5 spokes and here's your base. Just written Aurora, not even Oldsmobile, 1993 copyright. But yeah, it's a fairly cool car, unusual car, and there you go. Goes well with the Cougar, that was also kind of like a not so popular car when it came out. So next we have this really cool LRoka, and I was kind of happy to stumble upon this one because it's actually a wheel variation for one I already have, the exact same livery. Slightly darker shade of blue on the one on the bottom. But yeah, a wheel variation, 5-spoke as opposed to the basket weave, so that's pretty cool. Happy to get my hands on that one. And we're going to jump right into probably my favorite Hot Wheels cast that I picked up with this specific haul. This beautiful, slammed Buick Riviera. First gen Buick Riviera. And I was really curious to see how it differed from the premium release that came out in Boulevard a couple of years back. And it is one of my favorite Buicks, and one of my favorite GM products actually of all time. So here's the premium one as compared to this mainline one. Definitely chopped roof. We also have definitely the rocker panels on the main line that are much lower than the ones on the kind of stockish version. Obviously you got the grille is completely different, stock on the top versus custom on the bottom, and the rear is pretty different as well because you are looking at a shaved rear lights, and you know, obviously the dual exhaust that is definitely not in the stock position. But overall, yeah, very different castings of two examples of the same car, which is kind of cool, especially it's from the same manufacturer. So another one of those perfectly stanced American muscle cars, or pseudo luxury cars, should I say. Next up, managed to pick up a good old beat up and battered Ferrari Testarossa. It's complete. You know, the wheels still roll fairly well, and it's gonna go super well with the almost mint one that I have already in the collection with that weird, very late 80s, early 90s tampo work. Two-tone seats. This would also have two-tone seats. Normally they should be red inserts on a tan interior, but as you can see, the windows are completely matted from the inside, so that's not visible anymore. I might take this one apart and restore it or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So that's pretty cool, you know, and it's red Ferrari. It's always classic, and I've always loved, since I was a kid, how these taillights are part of the interior. So it actually makes a contrast. It makes it look like it actually has taillights as opposed to, you know, not having any details, which is kind of common when this thing came out. Metal on metal. Malaysia base and a 1986 copyright. Classic Hot Wheels. Classic Hot Wheels, and a little bit of the newer genre of Hot Wheels. Well, not that new, obviously, because this is still a 25-year-old casting, but you have the Ferrari F50, and this is the coupe version. And the coupe version is going to be a great addition to go with the convertible version I have, the F50 Spider or Roadster. So no tampo work for the lights on the Spider version, as you can see, but it is done in a clean red as opposed to a race livery on the blue version that we just picked up. And it's not exactly the same base either. You can probably see here that the bases are definitely different. Yep, so both Ferrari F50, and there's just some differences. This one has more details on the front of the undercarriage, and it's a little bit bigger. The Spider's a little bit bigger. It's pretty apparent if you look at them side by side from this angle. This one is much more, well, much more. It's a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a little bit more squared out as well, basically. It's got like a wider track almost. But overall, two different castings. Interesting. And the blue one's in really good condition as opposed to my red one here that has seen better days. But yeah, that's how it is in the thrift store find realm. All right, next we have kind of like a little oddity here. Not sure what brand this is because it's absolutely not branded. But I did manage to pick up a little Mitsubishi Pagero. And I was kind of confused on what this was when I saw it through the plastic of the bag there. I was like, oh, is this like a Suzuki Samurai or Jimny or something like that? But then I saw right here, Pagero. Well, obviously, well, it's Mitsubishi. A little bit of a fragile side step there. It's got the push bar on the front, which I actually had to reattach because it had fallen off and was in the bag, but I reattached it. Again there, not as fragile, but still pretty fragile. Side step. Got the spare wheel. It seems to be mounted crooked, but this seems to be factory styled crooked. I don't know. Cool burgundy color. Very retro style livery, and has black interior. Yep, you got some air passing there. Same for the wheels also. And cool thing about this is it is a pullback. So it is not four-wheel drive. That's false advertisement. It's not all-wheel drive. It's actually rear-wheel drive, but that's okay. We'll forgive the lack of all-wheel drive. Let's just say it's in 2 high as opposed to 4 high and 4 low. Transfer case speeds and whatever. Next up, we'll be checking out a couple Maistos. So first one that I decided to retain was this, kind of basic armored truck. But if you look at the front end, it definitely looks like an International. And it is pretty realistic. Obviously it's lacking the details, but that's something, or is it a Mac maybe? Maybe it's a Mac, I'm not sure. But I mean, this kind of front end design is very, very common in my neck of the woods for armored trucks. So not as much as it used to be, but still pretty common. So put this one here in the back. Next Maisto I picked up was this Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's second gen Grand Cherokee with the bling wheels and the huge hitch. So I'm assuming this was part of a set of some kind. I don't know if they would sell these in the fresh metal line, with that huge hitch just by itself there. But yeah, 1999 Grand Cherokee. I actually have also the Tonka collab with Maisto of this cast, but in I think it's a 138 scale or 136 scale. So that's cool to have in a smaller scale, definitely. Then my favorite era of Maisto, at least from for a while now, has been these older late 90s casts. And this Mercedes 500 SL, the R129 chassis, is definitely a cool one. I'm going to go on a limb and say that this is better than the Hot Wheels one, better than the Matchbox one, and just because of the hardtop, maybe even better than the Majorette one of the same era, the mainline ones. It's just got simple front light details, nothing in the back, but the cast details are really good. I love the way how they did the lights, the light details. It's got the early, because this was a 500 SL, but that went to SL 500 around 96, and they changed the design of these slats. They went with less of a two-tone and more of a monochromatic paint scheme, and just did a slight restyle of that front bumper and grille, just to make it still fresh, since this car had a very, very long career. I mean, it came out in 89 and was discontinued in 2000. So, 11-year run. So you'd expect a facelift midway, but this example is really cool. It's got a nice burgundy color. The Matchbox 5-arch looking wheels that Maisto loved to use at that point in time. And yeah, just a great looking car overall. It's not in a bad condition either for a 25-plus-year-old diecast. So we have next Motormax, the only Motormax we're going to be checking out, and it's a clean liveried version of the 4th gen Firebird Trans Am with WS6 package, as can be guessed through the ram air intake for the hood. So it's a facelifted version, the later ones, the last ones that were built in the Sainte-Thérèse, Quebec factory. And it's going to be cool to add to the fleet of 4th gen F bodies. This is another Motormax with the Road and Track livery. So it's cool to have a clean red one and a riced up green one. But it's the same exact cast. One's got a white interior, one's got a black interior, but we have the same black detailing for the roof, mocking the T-tops. And the green one does have rear lights done, whereas on the, well, obviously the red one, they're not done, but doesn't really matter because it's red anyways. And yeah, you got the same base, same everything. The only difference that I've found between the two is the fact that you have the trademark GM, General Motors, on the bottom of the green one, which is not there. All the rest is all the same, as you can see. Yep, so that's cool to get. That's cool to get. I'm happy about that one. Did score a couple Matchbox cars. Actually, literally a couple, because I only have 2. But got this Fiat 500 Turbo. Little 1.4 liter multi-air engine. 135 horsepower. It's pretty clean. Well, it's dirty, but I mean, it's not damaged. It's a good cast. It's definitely better than the Hot Wheels one. Wheels are much more in proportion. And yeah, I have this one carded as well, so that's going to be going into the for sale pile. And now we have it loose. All right. Older Matchbox that I managed to pick up. Yeah, pickup literally, because it's a pickup. It's the Chevy SSR with the Tyco era or Malaise era of a Matchbox, with the Matchbox sidewall wheel tires, I guess. With the, you know, the mesh looking wheels. Unfortunately, this one has a wheel that has no more silver on it for whatever reason. So I'll probably have to refinish the wheels, and this one could use a good refinish as well, because, you know, a third of the spokes are all black too. So but yeah, paint's not too bad, not too shabby. Front details, rear details with the big Matchbox logo on the bottom. Very good badging though. The SSR badge is well done. Well done. It's kind of weird they didn't do the lights, the exhaust. They did just the chrome bar. It's as if they were limited on the color choices or something that they were allowed to use for tampo work, or I don't know. Either way, so that's my first Chevy SSR in the collection. Probably the last, because I'm not going to be chasing these or anything anyways, right? But yeah, so Chevy SSR. And I did manage to pick up a few Majorettes. We all love Majorettes, especially the older ones. So did manage to find the Majorette version of this Honda NSX. It's got a crack in the windscreen. Get that out of the way. But I really was happy to get this to compare it to the Nova Cars version that I have. For those who do not know, Nova Car is basically a cheaper version of Majorette, and it's simply plastic body, metal base, as opposed to metal body, metal base. But all in all, pretty much the same base. So there you go. 1/60th scale. Body's a little bit bigger on the Nova Car, but that's really more because of the fact that it's plastic than anything else. And cool little feature here is the fact that on the Nova Car, since the 2 tabs that they're serving as fog lights are actually holding the base to the body, well, it's an extra detail that the Majorette version kind of doesn't have. But yeah, obviously this is much heavier. Much heavier. Again, you know, we've got a damaged wheel well here, where you can see the tabs that hold the wheels in place are missing from this wheel, so it kind of tucks in, but overall for display purposes it's quite fine. Bunch of imaginary sponsors and I don't know, competition, sport, oh my god, yep. Either way, you know, winner, you know, of course it's a winner. Yeah, but either way, I mean, it's cool to have the actual cast. Probably look better without the tampos on there, but you know, that's just me. Yeah, basically Majorette also did this beautiful, I think, Ford Econoline. Kind of looks like a Ford Econoline, not the grille, but the lights and everything and the shape of the van looks like a Ford Econoline. The Elephant Reserve liveried van, and this one is complete, has its opening doors to reveal an empty rear compartment that is completely red, and the red also serves, as you probably guessed, for those wheel arches and rocker panels. as well as the tab for the tow hitch, the good old 6-spoke Majorette wheels. Here's your base, 1/65th scale. They call this the fourgon. So yeah, cargo van pretty much. And there you go. All right, next up, and definitely a cool find. I'm happy to make, because I've seen numerous one of these in thrift store bags. They're never ever complete. I finally got a complete one. The good old square body Chevy Tow Truck with both the hooks and the lights and the tow hitch. I mean, the only thing that's missing on this thing is just tiny flea bites of paint, a little bit of chrome on the wheels, and it's a made in France. It's probably, see, it's a dépanneuse, so tow truck. And yeah, really cool. And I really wanted to get one of these because I really wanted to compare it to the, since it's pretty much the same front clip as the Hot Wheels version, but slammed as opposed to obviously being lifted. I really wanted to compare the size, and I mean, pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. Which is kind of cool, because as opposed to the Hot Wheels version, they do put the scale on these for, so 1/62nd scale. I'm going to assume that the Hot Wheels version is close to that scale as well. Slightly bigger, so maybe 1/61st, 1/60th. Really happy to add this one to the collection. And last piece that we managed to pick up, and I don't normally do this, but I'll finish off with a beater, but it's the Majorette Lamborghini Diablo. Early version, no wing, probably not even a VT, impossible to tell. It's, yeah, can't get more basic of a base than this, right? 1/58th scale. Got the exhaust on the back. You do have some tampos for the rear lights. Very basic tampos, but they are still tampos. And this ginormous Lamborghini badge on the front. And I thought this would be a good occasion to compare this casting to what else was being made at the same era. So, Diablo wise at least. So, picked up a Xiaomex. I have this in red and yellow. This one does have mirrors, whereas Majorette does not. It has really ugly wheels as opposed to really wide ugly wheels. Then we've got the Maisto version, which again, wheels are what they are. Still wingless, and this one does not have mirrors, but it has the best details all in all. And we'll finish up with the Hot Wheels version. So you got a nice stack of Diablos here. Nice stack of Diablos. I'm probably going to eventually drop, because these are kind of very aerodynamic, right? So they slip a little bit, but look at that, eh? The Hot Wheels version is like a McDonald's special, so no interior. The 5-spoke wheels that are not quite correct. It does have wing and the mirrors though, which is kind of surprising, I guess. But yeah, we'll finish off with this stack of Diablos before I drop everything. Hopefully you enjoyed this showcase. Happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadians. Happy hunting, although the stores are all closed today. All the best, and stay safe out there. Take care. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.